All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I wanted to really talk about, in my opinion, the most important position that the Jets have got to figure out this offseason. It's offensive tackle, right? We don't know who the starting left tackle or right tackle for this team is going to be. We're not really too sure at this point in time who the for sure backups are going to be as well. So I'm fully expecting Joe Douglas to be active in free agency. Now, obviously, the Jets aren't pressed up completely against the cap, so we do have a little bit of wiggle room, and this is also before cuts and restructures, potential pay cuts as well. So with that being said, let's jump into the first player here. I would say probably the biggest name, the biggest household name, if you will, that's set at the open market. It's Tyron Smith, tackle from the Dallas Cowboys. He's coming off a pretty good season with Dallas, playing in 13 games, only allowing 1 sack and 847 snaps. He did sign that 1-year contract a year ago, but overall, from top to bottom, Tyron Smith has been a consistent player when healthy, right? When he's out in the field, he typically produces. You look at what he does in pass protection, it's really good. Of course, Tyron Smith would come in and immediately be the best tackle on the team, best tackle that the Jets have. My only issue with Tyron Smith, he's always battling some sort of injury. In the last 8 seasons, he has yet to complete a full year, right, where he's just out there starting for every single game. Again, last 8 years, he's missed time. There's always something going on. He is 33, so it's not like he's 27, but you could also look at 33 as a good thing, right? A veteran leader has been, constantly produced, again, as he's been out there. The strength, the awareness. He's not really had a ton of success because of Dallas and whatnot in the playoffs, but he has played in playoff games. I think if the Jets sign Tyron Smith, I'm assuming to a 1 or 2 year contract here, he would really be an awesome boost for the left side of the offensive line. The only question is Joe Douglas willing to go down the route of paying, a tackle who's beyond 30? It doesn't really seem like he's going to be getting any better with time and has had injury problems before in the past. We look at Mekhi Becton, we look at Dwayne Brown. We've had a lot of guys that just constantly get hurt every single season. Again, it's not 100% guaranteed that Tyron Smith would get hurt with the Jets, but at the end of the day, I do feel like Tyron Smith would be a great addition for this team. Next up, right tackle from the New England Patriots, Mike Onuoha. Coming in at 6'3", 300 pounds, Onuoha's coming off a really good season where he only allowed 3 sacks over 850 snaps. He provides positional versatility. He could bounce around a little bit. He's not locked in to just playing right tackle. And another thing that's interesting with Onuoha was, looking at the headline that came out yesterday, which was that the Patriots essentially know that he's going to be gone. Now, I was thinking that he just wasn't going to hit the open market initially. If anything, the Pats were just going to use their franchise tag on him. Just thinking about the overall structure of the offense, right? They don't really have much explosion. They don't really have much talent at wide receiver. You would assume that the Patriots are targeting quarterback with that 3rd overall pick. Bill Belichick out, Gerard Mayo in. You'd want somebody safe like this to remain on the roster. You would want to bring back one of your bookend tackles. Of course, Trent Brown, somebody who we're going to be talking about in a second. He's a free agent as well. So the headline was interesting. Of course, the Patriots could still go ahead and use the tag on Onuoha, but at the end of the day, if he hits the open market, I fully want the Jets to be interested here, 100%. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN did actually report, though, that there's going to be a lot of bidders if he does, in fact, hit the open market. But at the end of the day, the Jets need stability, right? We need stability at the tackle position, and I feel like that's exactly what Onuoha would give this Jets offense. I really don't see a situation where he'd be getting a humongous deal, but I do feel like because he would have a lot of bidders, it wouldn't be the most cheapest thing out there. I do feel like he is going to, end up with a team that's going to view him as a long-term building block. But again, if he hits the open market, the Jets, in my opinion, have got to be interested. Okay, so let's stick with the New England Patriots here and talk about Trent Brown. This is, I would say, the most controversial tackle hitting the open market that a team can target, right? Whether you're talking for the Jets or, another team out there. Because when Trent Brown is out there, he's healthy, he's motivated, he's playing on a good football team, this dude's a brick wall. Trent Brown is a very good football player. Pass protection, run blocking. He's 6'8", 370 pounds. He's coming off a season where he only allowed 3 sacks in 579 snaps. He appeared in 11 games, but only had 8 starts. So the positives here are really good. Trent Brown can be that bookend, that guaranteed go-to starter, right? That guy that just locks down the right side of the offensive line. The problem though with Trent Brown is that there's some questionable. Well, first off, the injuries. Right, he's had trouble with injuries before in the past. Again, only appearing in 11 games, 8 of those being starts. It's not a situation where it's just a 1-year thing, where he's had like one injury and that's all. That's it. They pop up quite frequently when we're talking about Trent Brown. We look at his tenure with the Vegas Raiders. Obviously did not live up to the contract that Mike Mayock, I believe was the GM at the time, gave him, and ended up finding his way back to New England where his play improved. But we have social media stuff. There were times where he was liking tweets regarding Mac Jones not performing well. The big concern with Trent Brown is that if you're not on a contender, if you're going through a losing streak, if you're losing a bunch of games, is he really going to be motivated? Is he really going to go out there and produce at a high level? Because last season, again, we just there were too many question marks, too many negatives. Those outweighed the positives. Who knows if he's going to be back in New England next season, but I feel like at this point in time, he's the biggest wild card. He's the most controversial tackle that the Jets could target. Okay, so next up, coming in at spot number 4 here on the list, it's a player that we've talked about a little bit. It's Jonah Williams from the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Williams is not a top 5 level tackle. He's not. But Jonah Williams does give you something that a lot of tackles don't give you, which is consistent, healthy play at both left tackle or right tackle. This dude plays a lot. He did allow 8 sacks though last season, but he appeared in over 1,000 snaps, 1,087 to be exact. So you're looking at the rest of this guy, the rest of the players on this list here. That's over 200 extra snaps that Jonah Williams saw a year ago. So again, Williams is not the perfect tackle prospect. He's not elite by any means, but he does give the Jets some flexibility, right? He could be a guy that Joe Douglas is looking at saying, man, our offensive line right now is horrid. We don't really have, again, that long-term answer at left or right tackle currently. We can go out and sign Jonah Williams to a multi-year contract, get him under contract in the building, and now we have somebody that can play on either side. So if, Olu Fashanu falls to the Jets at spot number 10, great, we snag him. Jonah Williams is the team's right tackle. And then all of a sudden we're feeling good about our 2 starters. If we don't have somebody fall, Joe Alt, Fashanu, nobody falls to the Jets at 10, we miss out on a Tyron Smith, we miss out on some of the top left tackles. We can plug Jonah Williams in there and then maybe select, Fuaga from Oregon State at 10, J.C. Latham at spot number 10. And now all of a sudden we're feeling good about our 2 starters once again. So, again, not a top level prospect, not a top level player at this point in time, but he's better than everybody that we currently have, as well as giving you consistency, healthy play, durability, and positional flexibility. Now, last but not least is a cheap veteran option. Somebody who I wanted the Jets to be interested in last season. I felt like he would have been a great addition, but Joe Douglas did not pursue it. It was longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneer Donovan Smith. He ended up signing a 1-year, $3.5 million contract with the Chiefs last year and performed pretty well. He appeared in 12 games and only allowed 2 sacks over 749 snaps. He's 6'6", 340 pounds. Again, longtime Buccaneer left tackle. Great leader, great veteran option, has playoff experience under his belt. He's a Super Bowl champion. If we're talking about some of the best left tackles in football, I don't really believe Donovan Smith is one of those. But if the Jets aren't trying to break the bank on, a top left tackle, or we miss out on some of the top guys and we have to quickly pivot, Donovan Smith is somebody who's plug and play right now. I would say the best left tackle option currently looking at the Jets roster. It was concerning to me why we didn't really or why we didn't target him, because he was, a free agent for such a long time this past offseason. I mean, for months he was out there, and then the Chiefs just ended up giving him, a small deal like that. And then you looked at how the season for the Jets ended up playing out. It's like, man, we really could have used somebody like Donovan Smith. So those, to me, are the top 5 tackle options. Really feeling, you can make strong arguments for 4 of them. The wild card, again, is Trent Brown. That's the one that, you can talk yourself out of, you could talk yourself into. You gotta think that at least one of those guys will be back with New England, because I just don't see a situation where they draft, a young rookie quarterback at 3, and then you just get rid of your 2 starting tackles, which were some of the only bright spots on the Patriots offense anyway. Also, too, with a rookie head coach coming in, you kind of want as much stability as possible. You don't want to just have to address 2 more humongous needs at tackle in year 1. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What tackle prospects, what tackle free agents are you looking into, the Jets trying to acquire? Is there anybody that stands out, any diamonds in the rough? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.